Welcome back, all my trucking true crime fans. So I'm so excited to announce that we have another new podcast episode up for you. So I do want to give a warning out today before you listen to our podcast episode that it does involve violence and sexual abuse against a young minor. So if this is not your cup of tea, I completely understand. Don't need to listen to this week's podcast. But let's get into the details. So today's case is about a truck driver named Alfred Bourgeois. So Alfred was a truck driver who was married to a woman named Robin, and they had 2 children together. During their marriage, he wound up having an affair with a lady named Katrina. That affair ended, and a couple years later, as he was on one of his routes, one of his truck driver friends informed him that that affair had produced a daughter. That indeed, Alfred had a 2-year-old daughter with Katrina. Shocked and dismayed, Alfred decided that he wanted to go to court to petition for a DNA test to see if that little girl was truly his. So they went to court and found out that indeed he was the father of the little 2.5-year-old little girl whose name was Jacqueline. In May of 2012, the courts decided that they needed to figure out how much child support that Alfred was going to be giving to Katrina. Not wanting to pay child support on this child, he petitioned the court for having more visitation. And for whatever reason, the court system decided to give him 7 weeks of visitation without even meeting the child, and the visitation was to start the very next day. Today's podcast is about his time out on the road with little Jacqueline and how in just 30 days, little Jacqueline would die a horrific death. Please be sure to listen into our podcast here at Trucking True Crime Podcast. You can click the link in our bio to be taken directly to our podcast, or you can listen to our podcast wherever you like to listen to your podcast. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Google Music. Please be sure to give us a 5-star rating because, as you can tell, I am a truck driver, and so I do these podcasts from my truck, and it really does help us in our ratings. Please be sure to also visit our Trucking True Crime merchandise store. You can also find the link in our bio. All the proceeds from our Trucking True Crime merchandise goes directly back into our Treat a Trucker program, where we have gifted over 3,000 truck drivers in over 3 years with meals out on the road, just to say thank you for supplying America. So please be sure to listen to our latest podcast. Please be sure to give this video a heart, and please be sure to share it with your friends and family. And as always, my roadies, be safe out there.